Hi everyone! Today we are going to make some crispy pork hocks for Oktoberfest. I'm Anita from KetogenicWoman.com, where I share keto and carnivore recipes and other cooking ideas that have helped me to lose 145 pounds. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you check out some of my other videos, and for those of you who came back, thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Okay, today we're going to make a traditional Oktoberfest recipe. It is called Schweinshaxe, if I got that right. I sure hope so. It's been a few years since I had a house full of German-speaking people. So this is basically crispy pork hocks. Of course, I am going to be making a very scaled down version of it, suitable for carnivores, because the original comes with beer gravy and vegetables, and you put it on mashed potatoes with that beer gravy, and you drink beer while you're making it, and you drink beer after you make it, and it's this is gonna be a carnivore version. So you probably notice I'm wearing my lederhosen. This is my dad's apron. For those of you that have been following my channel since the beginning, you know that when he passed away, one of the things I brought back with me was a box of his aprons. He loved to cook and wear funny aprons, and I've got them all. So this one comes out at least once a year for Oktoberfest. So that's where we are today. Well, so how do we make these things? So I've had a few experiments with this, and I have yet to perfect it, but I think I've at least got it to the point where, given the minimal ingredients I'm using, it's a pretty good carnivore dish, minus all the traditional German stuff around it. So basically I'm going to try to, I've got two pork hocks here. Now you want the fresh pork hocks. You don't want anything that is already, that is smoked. A lot of times you can get smoked ham hocks and things like that. You may have to go to a butcher and try to get a nice big meaty one. These are 2 pounds each. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on this board for easier poking, because I want to poke holes in it, like into the skin. We're going to make a nice crispy skin, and hopefully this will do that. So I've got a couple of different options for the skin. There's this thing here. Depends on how thick the pork skin is. This should pierce it. It's basically like a stamp. You just stamp all over. And then the other thing I have, which this is the first time I've tried these on here, is I have these turkey lacers. And they have a pokey hole in them, or a pokey end to put holes in. So I'm kind of thinking that if this doesn't work, I will be using these. Plus, I will use these at the end to secure the skin into place. So let's see how this goes. Oh, well, before I start poking, let me just tell you what else I'm using today. I'm going to use my salt and pepper mix. It is white pepper, 1 part white pepper to 3 parts Redmond's kosher salt. If you've seen any of my videos before, you know that I put this on everything, because it's about all my little tummy can handle. So yeah, I seem to just react to all the different spices, but these are good for me. So that's what I do. I mix it in a jar like this. I have some white vinegar in this little bowl, and that gets brushed on the knuckles, like the bone part in the end. It's supposed to help reduce the smell. Now, my mother never did that. I grew up with the smell of pork hocks, baking, all different, this recipe, other recipes, all kinds of different German smells. I'm totally used to them. So I have no idea what smell it is they're talking about, because I guess I'm just used to it. But I've seen it enough times where people have mentioned it that I thought, okay, I'll pass that on to you in case you're not used to the smell of pork hocks cooking. I think they smell good. So, but I'm going to try it today and see what it does. In one of the YouTube videos that I saw, and I'm going to link a couple of YouTube videos down below where people made it the traditional way with the beer gravy and all that, in case you want to do that. At the very end, they brush the vinegar right onto the skin to help crackle it up a bit. So that's the part I'm more interested in. So let's get started with the poking. I have set my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to see if this works. Well, I can barely tell if there's any holes going in there, but I imagine there must be. Okay, so I am seeing little holes going in here, but I kind of think this might work better. It's got a real pointy tip, and these are not anywhere near as pointy. So, oh yeah, there we go. I can see more definition of the holes here. So I'm just going to stab this repeatedly.
Get out all my frustrations.
And turn it. Now be careful you don't stab yourself. That would be sad to do when you're trying to celebrate Oktoberfest. The other thing, the other step I'm omitting, this is something that my mother did do, is you make little cuts into the flesh and insert pieces of garlic in there. And that will infuse all kinds of lovely garlicness in there. I suppose I could have done that and then removed it afterwards, but you know, I'm kind of sensitive to garlic too. But what I will use is the salt and pepper. So I'm just trying to massage it in here. I'm just taking a little bit of the white vinegar and just putting it on this bone part. Not on the skin at this point, just here. And of course you don't, any leftover vinegar later, you don't want to reuse it for anything because we're dipping pork stuff in there, raw pork. But it's fine to use during this recipe. So then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use these turkey basters to secure the skin, because what happens when you put this in the oven and it bakes, and then later on when we turn up the heat a bit, the skin will want to pull up, and this will help it. And again, be careful. Don't stab yourself. And remember, there's a bone in there, so you're going to have to feel your way through. The trick is to get it to go through without stabbing yourself or avoiding the bone. And you want it to stand up like that too. So now in this pan, I have a rack in here, and I've added about 2 cups of water. That is where the gravy would normally be, you would normally stack all your vegetables here and some water, a bottle of beer, actually. You'd put your veggies in here, like root vegetables usually, bottle of beer, and all the drippings from the pork and the beer. And I mean, it sounds really good, and yeah, it was really good, but we're not going to do that. We're going plain Jane here. What you're trying to achieve, believe it or not, is how, like, a lot of times the pork skin sort of bunches up like that, and then the baking will make it bunch up even further. You're trying to stretch it tight and secure it in place so that the skin has the ability to dry out in the oven and crackle. Needs something just slightly sharper, but this should do it. Probably there's somebody out there who's rolling their eyes right now going, oh, I know how to do that, but she did it wrong. Okay, but it's standing. I'm happy. It's sort of standing. Okay. I'm going to get something to balance that on. There. That one's propped up. I'm going to prop this one up too. I'm doing this in honor of my dad. Every year I try to do something Oktoberfest related for him. My mom always said that it was just, she was Russian, he's German. She always said it was just an excuse for the Germans to drink beer and eat pork. And maybe she was right, but he sure had a good time doing it. So we're at the first phase of this. It is going in the oven 350 for 2.25 hours, 2.5 hours. Internal temperature should be 185 when we take it out to do the final hot cook. So I'm going to put it in the oven, and then we'll come back in the next segment to show you what to do next. Okay, we are bringing this out. It's been in there about 2.5 hours. I'm just going to check the temperature on it. Okay, 188. 190. We're good. So now what is going to happen is that I'm going to turn the oven higher. I'm going to turn it to 500 degrees. Open your windows and turn on your fan. So I'm going to move these. I need some tongs. Okay, so I'm going to just take these out of this pan and just move them to this smaller one. Hopefully they both fit in here. Okay, I got skewers everywhere, but that's okay. We did get a little bit of a split in the skin here, but that's okay. The skin everywhere else looks good. So what I have seen is that if you put the white vinegar, just brush it onto this skin at the high heat, it is going to cause it to crackle and look really pretty at the end. And so I am hoping that that is the case. And we'll put some here too. We'll see if that trick works. Now this remaining juices in here, it could be used to make, you know, some sort of gravy. So I leave that to you. I'm probably not going to do that. But you can see that the pork drippings made, you know, seeped into the water I had in here. You know, unfortunately no bottle of beer in here or veggies, but you could take this and make a gravy, maybe add some meat flour to it, or maybe even add, if you're doing dairy, you could add some heavy cream to this and whip it up into a nice gravy. I'm not going to do that, but just giving you the option there. So I'm just waiting for the oven to come up to temperature, and I will put this in there. It'll be 500 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 minutes, windows open, fan going, because it's going to be hot. And then we'll be back here. It also has to rest. These have to rest when they come out for 15 minutes. So we will come back at that point to see how they turned out. We'll see you in the next segment. Okay, so this came out of the oven after 30 minutes at 500. We did have the smoke alarm go off once, but then just opened a couple extra windows. These skewers have cooled down. I can start pulling them out. I probably didn't need to put as many in as I did. All right, so this is what we have. You can probably hear that the outside is very very hard and crispy, and that's what we want. I would have liked to have seen a little more blistering up. Maybe I did not poke enough holes in with those picks, those skewers. You know, you can sort of see this is kind of the effect you want when all these skin bubbles start coming up. But regardless, it should be nice and juicy inside. So I always have trouble deciding where I'm gonna cut. So I guess I'll just go for it. So what should be inside this crust, this is the best part to me, is the crispy skin. I'm just going to pick some of that off a bit and just show you inside. What you should have is all this tender meat and collagen, and it's, you know, fully cooked, coming away from the bone. My dad used to just love this. So I'm going to just cut some off. There you go. That's kind of what it looks like. I have to try a piece of the crunchy skin though. That is truly the best part. But look at this. Look how moist and juicy that is. So, I mean, you can just eat this like this, which is basically what I do. I will just scrape all the meat off that, eat it with the crunchy skin. You can make the beer gravy if you like. You can serve it, you know, with some carnivore mashed potatoes or cauliflower rice if you're keto or whatever. You can do whatever you like. This is a classic Oktoberfest dish. I hope you give it a try and enjoy it, even if you're not German and even if you don't do Oktoberfest. It's a nice change of pace on carnivore, having a crispy pork hock. So I do hope you enjoy, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching.
Oh, I should get more of the leader hose in, shouldn't I? Yes, you should. You should get a full shot of it at some point. I can't move because I'm holding it onto the island here. Fitness retro happened.